Brandon wasn't always like this. Or maybe he was, and I just didn't want to see it. When he was young, he was a good kid. Smart, funny, energetic. His mother Karen and I raised him in Troy, in a nice middle-class neighborhood. I worked at General Motors as a senior automotive engineer, made good money. Started at $65,000 in 1989, was making $185,000 by the time I retired in 2019. Karen was a schoolteacher. Elementary education. She made about $58,000 by the end of her career. Between us, we lived comfortably. Saved aggressively. Paid off our house in 18 years instead of 30. Put away money for Brandon's college in a 529 plan. We had rules. Chores. Expectations. Brandon got an allowance, but he had to earn it. Mow the lawn, take out the trash, maintain AB average in school, but somewhere around high school, things shifted. Brandon was 16 when he got his first car. Not from us. From Karen's mother, his grandmother Dorothy. She bought him a used Honda Civic without asking us. Just showed up one day with the keys. Every boy needs a car, Robert. Stop being so strict with him. I tried to explain that we'd planned to have Brandon save half the money for a car and we'd match it. That this was about teaching him the value of working for what you want. Oh, don't be ridiculous. He's a child. Let him enjoy his youth. Karen backed her mother. Said I was being too hard on Brandon. Said not everything had to be a lesson. That was the first crack in the foundation. Brandon never got a job in high school. His friends all worked at the mall, at restaurants, at movie theaters. Brandon stayed home, played video games, hung out with his girlfriend. He needs to focus on his grades, Robert. College is what matters. So he focused on his grades. Got a 3.6 GPA. Applied to Michigan State, University of Michigan, Wayne State. Got into all three. Chose Michigan State. Good school. Out-of-state tuition even for Michigan residents, around $28,000 a year back in 2009. We had the 529 plan, but it only covered about 60% of costs. I suggested he take out student loans for the difference. Build credit. Have skin in the game. Karen's mother offered to pay the difference. $11,200 a year. 4 years. $44,800 total. Dorothy, that's incredibly generous, but we want Brandon to understand the cost of education. Robert, stop. My grandson is not going into debt when I can help. So Brandon went to Michigan State debt-free. He called home every Sunday. Told us about his classes, his friends, his fraternity. Asked for money constantly. Dad, I need $300 for textbooks. Dad, the meal plan doesn't cover weekends. Can you send $150? Dad, my laptop died. I need $1,200 for a new one. Every time I sent the money. Because that's what fathers do, right? We support our children's education. Graduation, May 2013. Brandon walked across that stage with a degree in marketing and a 3.4 GPA. Karen and I were so proud. We threw him a party. Invited 50 people, spent $3,800. He moved back home. Said he needed time to find the right opportunity. 6 months became a year. A year became 18 months. He worked part-time at a gym, making $13 an hour, maybe 25 hours a week. Brought home about $1,300 a month. Paid us $300 for rent. Spent the rest on going out with friends, video games, clothes. Brandon, I said one Sunday dinner, you've been out of college for 2 years. Don't you think it's time to find a career track position? Dad, the job market is terrible. You don't understand what it's like for millennials. I understand that you're 24 years old and living in your childhood bedroom. Karen jumped in. Robert, stop. He's trying. These things take time. But he wasn't trying. He was comfortable. Why wouldn't he be? Subsidized rent, home-cooked meals, no real responsibilities. Then he met Ashley. November 2015. Brandon was 26, working at a marketing firm, finally making $42,000 a year. Entry level, but it was something. He brought Ashley home for Thanksgiving. She was 23, just graduated from Boston University. Blonde, pretty, confident. Came from money. Her father William was a pharmaceutical executive, her mother Patricia didn't work. At dinner, Ashley talked about her gap year after college, backpacking through Europe. 6 months, 12 countries, staying in nice hotels because hostels are so dirty. How did you fund that? I asked. Oh, my parents. They said it was my graduation gift. She talked about her apartment in Royal Oak. 1 bedroom, $1,800 a month. My dad pays for it until I find the right career fit. He doesn't want me to settle just because of money pressure. She was 23 years old. No job. Apartment paid for by Daddy. I saw exactly where this was going. After dinner, I pulled Brandon aside. Son, she seems nice, but you need to be careful. She comes from a very different financial background than us. What's that supposed to mean? It means she's used to a lifestyle you can't afford on $42,000 a year. Dad, you're being judgmental. I'm being realistic. I've seen this before. Different economic expectations destroy relationships. He didn't talk to me for 2 weeks. 6 months later, they moved in together. Brandon's apartment, but Ashley redecorated. New furniture, $8,000 worth from West Elm and Pottery Barn. Brandon, did you pay for all this? Ashley's dad gave us money as a housewarming gift. How much? I don't know, Dad. Why does it matter? It mattered because my son was letting his girlfriend's father set the financial tone of their relationship. That's when the emergency call started. Dad, my car broke down. The transmission is gone. It's going to cost $3,500 to fix. I sent the money. Dad, I got in a fender bender. Insurance doesn't cover the full deductible. I need $1,000. I sent the money. Dad, I'm short on rent this month. Ashley's dad is out of the country and I can't ask her mom. Can you help with $900? I sent the money. Every time, Brandon promised to pay me back. As soon as I get my tax return, Dad. As soon as I get my bonus, Dad. As soon as I get promoted, Dad. The money never came back, Karen noticed. Started questioning me. Robert, you need to stop enabling him. He's 27 years old. I'm helping our son through a rough patch. This has been a 3-year rough patch. But then Karen got sick. March 2018. Karen complained of persistent headaches. We thought it was stress. She was dealing with a difficult principal at her school, considering early retirement. The doctor ordered an MRI. Glioblastoma. Stage 4 brain cancer. Inoperable. They gave her 12 to 18 months. She made it 14. Those 14 months broke me in ways I still haven't fully recovered from. Watching the woman I'd loved for 33 years slowly lose herself. The cognitive decline. The personality changes. The pain. Brandon visited once a week. Ashley came twice. They were planning their wedding, set for June 2019, a month after the doctors estimated Karen would pass. Maybe we should postpone, I suggested. Your mother might not. Dad, Mom wants us to go ahead with the wedding. She said so herself. Karen had said that. In one of her lucid moments, she'd told Brandon not to put his life on hold, but I knew what she really meant. Please wait. Please let me see you married. Please let me be there. They didn't wait. April 15, 2019. Karen died at home with hospice care. I was holding her hand. Brandon was at a work conference in Chicago. Said he couldn't get out of it. The funeral was beautiful. 200 people. Karen had touched so many lives as a teacher. Former students came, some now adults with children of their own. Brandon gave a eulogy. Talked about what a wonderful mother Karen had been. How she'd always supported his dreams. How she'd want him to be happy. He cried. I believed those tears were real. 2 months later, June 2019, Brandon and Ashley got married. I paid for half the wedding. Ashley's parents paid the other half. Total cost, $67,000. My share, $33,500. It was a beautiful wedding. Country club in Bloomfield Hills. 175 guests. Open bar. Live band. Ashley looked stunning. Brandon looked happy. I sat at a table with Karen's sister Linda and thought about how my wife should have been there. After the wedding, Brandon and Ashley honeymooned in Bora Bora for 2 weeks. $18,000 trip. Ashley's parents paid for it. When they got back, they announced they were moving to a bigger apartment. 2 bedrooms, $2,800 a month. Royal Oak, trendy area, walking distance to restaurants and bars. Dad, we're going to need help with the security deposit and first month's rent. It's $8,400 total. Can you lend us $4,200? We'll pay you back by the end of the year. I sent the money. I never saw it again. October 2020. COVID had turned the world upside down. I was isolated in my house, retired now, living on my pension and investments. Doing okay financially, but emotionally struggling. Karen had been gone for 18 months. I missed her every single day. Brandon called. Dad, we have news. Ashley's pregnant. I cried. Happy tears. My first grandchild. Karen's grandchild. The baby she'd wanted so desperately to meet. That's wonderful, son. Congratulations. We're so excited. But Dad, we need to talk about some financial stuff. Of course they did. Ashley wants to be a stay-at-home mom. We can't afford this apartment on just my salary. We're thinking of moving to a 3-bedroom. There's a great place in Birmingham. $3,200 a month. If you could help with half the rent, we could make it work. Brandon, that's $1,600 a month. That's $19,200 a year. I know, Dad. But it's temporary. Just until I get promoted. Maybe 2 years. 2 years is $38,400. Dad, this is for your grandchild. Don't you want Emma, we're naming her Emma, to grow up in a safe, nice neighborhood? Emma. They were naming her after Karen's mother. The grandmother who'd bought Brandon his first car, who'd paid for his college shortfall. Of course I do. Let me think about it. I agreed to help for 1 year. $19,200. I told Brandon that after a year, they'd need to figure it out on their own. Absolutely, Dad. Thank you so much. You're going to be the best grandfather. Emma was born May 2021. 7 pounds 4 ounces. Full head of dark hair. Perfect. I was at the hospital within an hour of getting the call. Held her when she was 3 hours old. She wrapped her tiny hand around my finger, and I felt something I hadn't felt since Karen died. Purpose. I was going to be the best grandfather. I was going to give Emma everything. Love, time, wisdom, support. For the first 6 months, I saw Emma twice a week. Tuesday afternoons and Saturday mornings. I'd go to their apartment, bring groceries, hold Emma while Ashley took a nap or shower. I bought her clothes, diapers, toys. Set up a college fund in her name. Started it with $25,000. Brandon seemed happy. Ashley seemed happy. Emma was thriving. Then things started to change. November 2021. Emma was 6 months old. I stopped by on a Tuesday afternoon with groceries and a new toy, a musical mobile for her crib. Ashley met me at the door. Didn't invite me in. Robert, we need to talk about boundaries. Boundaries? You can't just show up with toys every time you visit. We're trying to avoid overstimulation and materialism. Ashley, she's 6 months old. It's a mobile with soft music. It's not about this specific toy. It's about a pattern. You're undermining our parenting choices. I'm trying to be a helpful grandfather. Helpful would be respecting our decisions. Emma doesn't need more stuff. She needs consistency and routine. I looked past her. Brandon was sitting on the couch with Emma. He didn't make eye contact. Brandon? You have a problem with me bringing Emma gifts. He finally looked up. Dad, Ashley's right. You do kind of go overboard sometimes. I go overboard? I help pay your rent, I buy your groceries, I'm funding Emma's college. And we appreciate that, Dad. But money doesn't mean you get to make parenting decisions. I stood there, stunned. I'm not trying to make parenting decisions. I'm trying to be a grandfather. Ashley crossed her arms. A grandfather who respects boundaries. That's what Emma needs. I left the mobile by the door and went home. The next week, Brandon called. Hey Dad, quick question. Ashley's car is making a weird noise. Can you help us out with taking it to the mechanic? It might be expensive. So I was good enough to pay for car repairs, but not good enough to buy my granddaughter a toy without permission. I paid for the car repair. $1,847. December 2021. I asked to take Emma for a few hours on Christmas Eve. Just to my house, let her experience the Christmas decorations, take some photos. Robert, Emma's too young to be away from us for that long, Ashley said. How long is too long? I was thinking 3 hours. She's still nursing every 3 hours. It's not going to work. Can't you pump? I'm not going to pump just so you can play Santa Claus. I spent Christmas Eve alone. They came over Christmas Day for 2 hours. Ashley brought food she'd prepared because Emma's on a very specific nap schedule and we can't stay long. I gave Emma a gift. A soft doll, some board books, a beautiful hand-knit blanket I'd commissioned from a woman at church. Ashley looked at the gifts and said, "This is too much, Robert. We discussed this. It's Christmas. It's excessive." I gave Brandon and Ashley a check for $5,000. For Emma's needs. Ashley smiled for the first time that day. Thank you, Robert. That's very generous. So money was okay. Gifts were excessive. 2022 was the year everything accelerated. The demands, the restrictions, the manipulation. January, Brandon's car broke down. 2012 Honda Accord with 165,000 miles. Transmission failure. Not worth repairing. Dad, I need a car for work. Ashley needs our other car during the day with Emma. Can you help us with a down payment? How much are you thinking? There's a used Toyota Camry 2018 for $24,000. If you could help with $10,000, we could make the monthly payments work. I thought about it. A reliable car was important. Brandon had a 45-minute commute. I'll do $10,000, but this is a loan, Brandon. You'll pay me back $500 a month starting in 6 months. That's 20 months to pay it off. Absolutely, Dad. Thank you. I never saw a single $500 payment. February. Ashley decided she wanted to take Emma to a Mommy and Me music class. $350 a month. It's so important for her development, Robert. Studies show early musical exposure improves cognitive function. That's great. You should do it. We can't afford it with all our other expenses. Silence. We both knew what she was asking. I paid for the music class. $350 a month. $4,200 a year. March. I asked to babysit Emma one Saturday night so Brandon and Ashley could have a date night. We don't use babysitters, Robert, Ashley said. Emma's too attached. Separation anxiety. I'm her grandfather. The research on infant attachment is very clear. Consistency with primary caregivers is crucial. Ashley, I see her twice a week. I'm not a stranger. Maybe that's part of the problem. You see her twice a week, but you don't respect our parenting approach. Emma can sense tension. Emma was 10 months old. She could barely sense her own feet. But I backed off. Didn't want to cause problems. April, Brandon called. Dad, big news. I got promoted. Marketing director. It comes with a $15,000 raise. That's fantastic, son. Congratulations. Yeah, we're really excited. So, about the rent situation. I know we said 1 year, but with Ashley staying home and now we have more medical expenses, Emma's daycare alternatives are expensive. We're hoping you could continue helping for another year. Just one more year. Brandon, you just got a $15,000 raise. Before taxes, Dad. After taxes, it's like $9,000. And we have student loans. I thought your grandmother paid for college. Ashley's student loans. From Boston University. She owes $87,000. She's been out of school for 7 years. Has she made any payments? She's been in forbearance. But now they're coming due. $680 a month. Dad, we can't afford that and full rent. I should have said no. I should have drawn the line right there. Instead, I said, 6 more months. Not a year. 6 months. By October, you figure out your budget without my help. Thanks, Dad. You're the best. May, Emma's first birthday. Ashley planned a party at a local event space. Rented the room, hired a photographer, custom cake, decorations, entertainment, a person dressed as a Disney princess. Total cost, $4,800. Robert, we'd like you to contribute to Emma's party. We're thinking $2,400 would be fair since it's half. $4,800 for a 1-year-old's birthday party? This is a milestone. Our families do things right. We're not going to have some cheap party in our apartment. I paid $2,400. Emma cried through most of the party. Too many people, too much stimulation. She didn't even touch her cake. At the party, I overheard Ashley talking to her mother Patricia. Honestly, Robert has been such a problem lately. He wants to see Emma constantly. He brings inappropriate gifts. He questions our parenting. I'm about ready to set some serious boundaries. Patricia nodded sympathetically. You have to protect your family, dear. Some grandparents just don't understand modern parenting. I pretended I hadn't heard. June. Brandon called with exciting news. Dad, my company is giving me a car allowance. $800 a month. But I need to lease a professional vehicle. There's a Tesla Model Y that would be perfect. It's $850 a month for a 36-month lease. If you could help with the difference, just $50 a month, I could make this work. Brandon, if the allowance is $800 and the lease is $850, that's your decision to cover the extra $50. Dad, come on. $50 a month is nothing to you. Then it should be nothing to you either. Fine. Forget it. I'll just drive my piece of shit Camry and look unprofessional in front of clients. 2 days later, Ashley called. Robert, Brandon's really upset. This car is important for his career. Can you please just help with the lease? It's such a small amount. I agreed to cover the $50 difference. For 1 year. That was 2 years ago. I'm still paying it. Except now I pay the full $850 because Brandon's company restructured their car allowance policy after 6 months. July through September, a cascade of requests. Medical bills, $450. New laptop for Brandon's work, $1,600. Household repairs, $890. Emma's wardrobe because she's growing so fast, $670. Contribution to Ashley's parents' anniversary party, $500. Every time I hesitated, Ashley would make a comment about Emma. It's sad when grandparents prioritize money over family. Emma's going to remember who was there for her. Some grandparents are just more involved than others. October. The 6-month deadline came and went. I brought it up once. Brandon, we agreed 6 months of rent help. It's been October. Dad, are you seriously going to cut us off right before the holidays? With Emma barely able to walk? What kind of grandfather? I'm not cutting you off. I'm asking you to honor our agreement. Fine. We'll figure it out. Emma probably doesn't need her music class anyway. And I guess we'll tell her when she's older that Grandpa stopped helping when she was too young to remember. I kept paying half the rent. November 23, 2023. Thanksgiving. The day everything fell apart. I'd been looking forward to this for weeks. Emma was 2.5 now. Walking, talking, full of personality. I hadn't seen her in 3 weeks. Ashley had been busy every time I tried to schedule a visit. I arrived at their apartment at 2 p.m. Brought wine, flowers, and a gift for Emma, a beautiful wooden puzzle shaped like animals. Ashley answered the door. Took the wine and flowers. Looked at the gift. Robert, we talked about this. It's Thanksgiving. It's excessive. But fine. Come in. The apartment was full of people. Ashley's parents, William and Patricia. Her brother Thomas and his wife Melissa. Brandon's friend from work, Kyle, with his wife. I was the only person from Brandon's side of the family. No one from my side. No cousins, no friends, no Karen's family. Just me. I said hello to everyone. William shook my hand limply. Patricia kissed my cheek and said, Robert, you're looking thin. Are you eating enough? I'm 6 feet 1 inch and weigh 182 pounds. I'm in good health for 60. Emma was in the living room playing. I knelt down. Hey, Emma Bear. Hi, sweetheart. She looked up, smiled tentatively. Hi, Grandpa. My heart melted. Can Grandpa have a hug? She walked over, let me hug her. She smelled like baby shampoo and apple juice. I missed you so much, Emma. Do you want to see what Grandpa brought you? Ashley's voice cut through. Emma, come finish your lunch first. Grandpa can show you later. Emma tottered back to her little table, where she'd been eating cut-up grapes and cheese. I stood up, feeling dismissed. Dinner was at 4 p.m. Traditional Thanksgiving spread. The food was excellent. Ashley was actually a good cook, I'll give her that. During dinner, the conversation turned to Emma's development. She's doing so well with her vocabulary, Patricia said. So advanced for her age. She gets that from Ashley's side, William added. All the women in our family were early talkers. I smiled politely. Ashley jumped in. We're thinking about enrolling her in a Montessori preschool program next year. It's the best approach for gifted children. That sounds wonderful, Patricia said. It's $1,800 a month, Ashley continued. But Emma's worth it. Everyone nodded. I noticed Ashley wasn't looking at me, but I could feel the ask coming. Brandon spoke up. Dad's been so generous helping us give Emma the best opportunities. There it was. William looked at me. Robert, that's very good of you. Children need their grandparents' support. I'm happy to help, I said. And I was. But I was also tired. Tired of being the bank. Tired of being shut out. Tired of being expected to fund a lifestyle while being given no voice. After dinner, Emma was playing with some toys. I sat down next to her on the floor. Emma, what are you playing? Blocks. She handed me one. We played for maybe 5 minutes. Building towers, knocking them down, laughing. Then Emma knocked over a tower with particular enthusiasm, and a block flew across the room. Whoa, careful, sweetie, I said gently. We don't want to hit anyone. Ashley appeared instantly. Emma, come here, honey. Emma ran to her mother. Ashley picked her up. Robert, we use positive reinforcement in this house. We don't say no or don't or careful. It creates anxiety. Ashley, I was just. This is what I'm talking about, Brandon. She turned to my son. This is the old school, fear-based parenting I've been concerned about. The room went quiet. Everyone was looking at us. I wasn't trying to scare her. A block flew across the room. I was teaching her to be aware of her surroundings. That's not your job, Robert. Your job is to be a supportive grandparent, not to discipline or correct or teach. My face got hot. Ashley, with all due respect, I've raised a child. I think I know. One child 30 years ago in a completely different era. Modern child psychology has evolved. We know better now. Brandon should have said something. Should have defended me. Should have told his wife that she was speaking to his father, a man who'd raised him, supported him, loved him his entire life. Instead, Brandon said, Dad, Ashley's been reading a lot of parenting books. She really knows what she's doing. I looked around the room. Ashley's parents were nodding. Thomas was staring at his phone. Kyle and his wife looked uncomfortable. I took a breath, tried to stay calm. I love Emma. I would never hurt her or scare her. I'm just trying to be a grandfather. But you're being the wrong kind of grandfather, Ashley said. The kind who thinks they know better than the parent. The kind who undermines our choices. The kind who uses money to buy influence. That last line hit me like a punch to the gut. Uses money to buy influence? Come on, Robert. You think we don't see what you're doing? Every time you help us financially, it comes with strings. With expectations. With judgment. That's not fair, Ashley. Isn't it? Every time we set a boundary, you find a way to bring up how much you've invested in our family. It's manipulation. I looked at Brandon, my son, the boy I'd raised, the man I'd supported through everything. Brandon, is that how you feel? He wouldn't meet my eyes. Dad, you make comments about our choices, our lifestyle. Because I'm funding your lifestyle. I'm paying $1,600 a month for this apartment, $850 for your car, plus groceries, plus Emma's music class, plus emergencies. I've given you over $300,000 in the last 8 years. The number hung in the air. Ashley's face went red. See? This is exactly what I mean. You're keeping a ledger. You're treating your relationship with your son like a transaction. That's not what Robert, William interrupted. I think perhaps everyone needs to calm down. This is Thanksgiving. I am calm. I'm just trying to understand why I'm being called manipulative for supporting my family. Patricia spoke up. Robert, dear, I don't think anyone is saying you're manipulative. Just that modern parenting requires space. It requires trust. It requires grandparents to step back. Step back? I barely see Emma. I've seen her 4 times in the last 2 months. Every time I try to visit, Ashley's busy. Every time I suggest taking Emma for an afternoon, I'm told no. But when you need money, suddenly I'm family again. Ashley's face went cold. Brandon, I think we need to have a serious conversation about boundaries. Brandon looked at her, then at me. Dad, maybe you should go. Go? It's Thanksgiving. You're upsetting Ashley. You're making Emma tense. I think it's better if you leave. I looked at my son. Really looked at him. At some point in the last 32 years, I'd raised a stranger. Fine. I'll go. I stood up, grabbed my jacket. Emma called out, "Bye, Grandpa." I walked over, gave her one more hug. "Bye, Emma Bear. Grandpa loves you." Ashley pulled Emma back slightly. Just a small gesture, but I saw it. I left. That night, Brandon called. "Dad, we need to talk. Dad, we need to talk." I was sitting in my car in their parking lot. Hands shaking. Phone on speaker. "I'm listening. Ashley and I have been discussing this for a while. Your behavior tonight just confirmed what we've been feeling. You're not healthy for Emma right now." "Not healthy?" "Brandon, I've done nothing but love and support you and Emma. That's the problem, Dad. Your version of support comes with conditions. With expectations. Ashley feels like she's constantly being judged by you." "I've never judged Ashley." "You judge her all the time. The way she parents, the way she spends money, her education, her family. You make little comments. She feels it." I thought about all the times I'd bitten my tongue. All the times I'd wanted to say something about their spending, their choices, their entitlement, but stayed silent. "Brandon, if I've made Ashley uncomfortable, I apologize. But I'm your father. Emma's grandfather. You can't just shut me out." "We're not shutting you out. We're setting boundaries. Healthy boundaries." "What does that mean?" "It means until you can respect our parenting choices without commentary, without judgment, we think it's best if you take a step back from seeing Emma." The words didn't register at first. Step back? For how long? "Until you're ready to apologize to Ashley and commit to respecting our family dynamic." Apologize for what? For saying careful when a block flew across the room? 4 years of microaggressions, Dad. For making Ashley feel like she's not good enough. For acting like your money gives you authority over our decisions. I sat there in the dark parking lot, watching my breath fog the windshield. So I can't see Emma. Not until we're confident you understand appropriate grandparent boundaries. And paying for your car? Your rent? Emma's activities? Those boundaries don't apply. There was a long pause. Dad, those are separate issues. If you want to help financially, that's your choice. But it doesn't give you the right to be a grandfather. To be a disruptive presence in our parenting journey. Parenting journey. That's what this was to them. A journey. An experience. A performance for Ashley's Instagram followers. Brandon, let me be very clear. Are you telling me I cannot see my granddaughter? I'm telling you that we need space. And when we're ready, if you're ready to respect our boundaries, we can discuss gradual reintroduction. Gradual reintroduction. To my own granddaughter. Dad, you're being dramatic. How long? As long as it takes. Brandon, your mother would be ashamed of you right now. I heard him inhale sharply. Don't bring Mom into this. She wanted Emma so badly. She died 2 months before Emma was born. And now you're telling me I can't see her granddaughter? The only grandchild Karen will never meet. Mom would want us to have healthy boundaries too, Dad. She'd want Emma to grow up in a positive environment. Your mother would never keep a child from their grandfather over a disagreement about parenting philosophy. We'll talk when you're ready to apologize. Good night, Dad. He hung up. I sat in that parking lot for 20 minutes. Then I drove home to my empty house. The house where Karen and I had raised Brandon. The house full of memories of a family that apparently didn't exist anymore. I didn't sleep that night. But I spent those sleepless hours doing something productive. I went to my home office and pulled up 8 years of bank statements, credit card records, checks, Venmo transactions, emails confirming loans. By 6 a.m., I had a complete financial record of every dollar I'd given Brandon since 2015. The total. $341, $847,341,847 that I'd given my son enough money to buy a house in cash in many parts of the country. And now he was telling me I couldn't see my granddaughter. I didn't call Brandon for 3 days. He didn't call me either. On Monday, November 26th, I did what any engineer does when facing a problem. I researched. I Googled Grandparents' Rights Michigan. I found out that Michigan has some protections for grandparents, but they're limited. Generally, grandparents can petition for visitation rights if the child's parents are divorced or separated. One parent is deceased. The child was born out of wedlock and paternity has been established. Brandon and Ashley were married, both alive. None of the criteria applied. But there were exceptions. Courts could grant visitation if denying it would harm the child's mental, physical, or emotional health. I kept reading. Found forums, support groups, Facebook pages with names like Alienated Grandparents and Grandparents Seeking Access. Thousands of grandparents, all telling similar stories. Adult children who'd cut them off. Weaponized grandchildren. Demands for money but not relationship. One post caught my attention. They wanted me to pay for their daughter's private school, $18,000 per year, but wouldn't let me take her to the park alone. I finally realized I wasn't a grandmother, I was an ATM with emotional attachments. I stopped paying. They threatened to cut me off completely. I said go ahead. That was 3 years ago. Hardest thing I ever did. But I'm not funding my own exclusion anymore. I read that post 5 times, that I wasn't a grandfather. I was an ATM with emotional attachments. Tuesday, I called my attorney, Richard Morrison. He'd handled my estate planning and Karen's affairs. Bob, good to hear from you. What can I do for you? I explained the situation. All of it. The money, the manipulation, the Thanksgiving incident, the ban on seeing Emma. Richard listened without interrupting. Bob, I'm going to be straight with you. Grandparents' rights cases are tough in Michigan. Very tough. And expensive. We're talking $30,000 to $50,000 in legal fees, maybe more. And there's no guarantee you'd win. What are my chances? Honestly? 30% at best. Unless you can prove that denying access to you would cause significant harm to Emma, courts generally favor parental rights. And Emma's young, under 3. She won't remember if she doesn't see you for 6 months, a year, from a developmental standpoint. That hurt more than anything. So I have no recourse. Legal recourse? Limited. But Bob, you have leverage. You're financially supporting them to the tune of, how much did you say? About $2,500 a month in direct costs. Plus loans that were never repaid. You have significant financial leverage. Have you considered what happens if you stop supporting them? I hadn't. Not seriously. Because that felt like stooping to their level. Using money as a weapon. But then I thought about Ashley's comment. You use money to buy influence. I wasn't buying influence. I was paying for the privilege of being excluded. Richard, if I stop paying for things, can they sue me? For what? You're not legally obligated to pay their rent or car lease. Unless you have written loan agreements with repayment terms, those gifts are just that, gift. You could walk away tomorrow and they'd have no legal standing. What about grandparents' rights? If I stop paying, does that hurt my case? Actually, it might help. It demonstrates that your desire for a relationship isn't contingent on financial support. It shows you want access to Emma for the right reasons. I thanked Richard and told him I'd think about it. Wednesday, I did something I hadn't done in years. I called a therapist. Her name was Dr. Ellen Rodriguez. She specialized in family systems therapy and had good reviews online. I got an appointment for Friday morning. Those 2 days waiting for the appointment were the longest of my life. I kept checking my phone, hoping Brandon would call, hoping he'd say this was all a misunderstanding. He didn't call. Friday, November 30th, 9 a.m. Dr. Rodriguez's office in Troy. She was about 50, kind eyes, professional but warm. We spent the first 15 minutes just going over my history. Karen's death, Brandon's dependence, the financial support, the escalating control, Thanksgiving. Then she asked a question that stopped me cold. Bob, when did you stop being Brandon's father and start being his benefactor? I didn't have an answer. Tell me about Brandon's childhood. Was he always financially dependent on you? I thought about it, really thought about it. Karen's mother spoiled him, bought him things without asking us, undermined our attempts to teach him financial responsibility, and after she paid for his college shortfall, Brandon never really had to struggle. He always knew there was a safety net. And after college? When he lived at home for 2 years. I told myself I was being supportive, but I was enabling him. I see that now. Dr. Rodriguez leaned forward. Bob, I want you to understand something important. What you're describing isn't love. It's enmeshment. Brandon hasn't differentiated from you financially or emotionally. He still sees you as a resource to be managed, not a person to be respected. But Emma is being used as leverage. Brandon and Ashley have discovered that your access to Emma is the most powerful tool they have to control you. As long as you're afraid of losing her, they can extract whatever they want. I felt sick. So what do I do? You set boundaries. Clear, firm boundaries. You stop enabling their lifestyle. You make it clear that your financial support is not contingent on access to Emma, and your access to Emma is not contingent on financial support. These are separate issues. What if they cut me off completely? Then you'll know where you really stand. Bob, right now you're funding your own emotional abuse. You're paying thousands of dollars a month to be treated with disrespect, to be excluded from your granddaughter's life, to be blamed for having standards. She was right. I knew she was right. They're going to be angry. Yes, they will. Because you're changing the rules of a game they've been winning. But Bob, you can't buy a relationship. You've tried. For 8 years you've tried. It hasn't worked. That session lasted an hour. When I left, I knew what I had to do. But I needed to prepare. This wasn't a decision to make impulsively. December 2023. I spent the entire month preparing. First, I compiled every financial transaction. Every check, every Venmo, every bank transfer. 8 years of support organized in a spreadsheet. The categories were damning. Rent assistance. $89,600, 56 months times $1,600. Car down payment. $10,000. Car lease payments. $20,400, 24 months times $850. Emergency loans. $47,300, documented via text messages and emails. Apartment security deposit. $4,200. Gift contributions. $38,150, birthday parties, Christmas, wedding contribution, etc. Education/activity costs. $16,800, Emma's music class, future preschool deposits. Vehicle repairs/insurance. $8,947. Household items/groceries. Estimated $22,500. Medical bills. $12,450. Miscellaneous. $71,500. Total. $341,847. For every item over $500, I had documentation. Screenshots of texts where Brandon promised to pay you back, Dad. Emails with subject lines like, emergency, need help. Second, I consulted with a financial advisor about restructuring my support. I'd been loose with my money, treating it like it was infinite. But I was 60. I needed to think about my own future. My advisor, Patricia Chen, was blunt. Bob, you're on track for a comfortable retirement, but you've spent nearly 16% of your net worth supporting Brandon. At this rate, if you live to 90, you'll have problems. I'm not going to keep supporting him. Good. Because at $2,500 a month, that's $30,000 a year. Over the next 20 years, that's $600,000, plus opportunity cost if you'd invested it instead. She showed me projections. If I stopped supporting Brandon and invested that $2,500 monthly instead, I'd have an additional $847,000 by age 80, assuming 6% returns. Nearly $1 million. That's what my generosity was costing me. Third, I talked to Richard Morrison again about protecting myself legally. Richard, if I stop all financial support, what are the potential legal ramifications? None, provided you don't have written loan agreements. You might want to send a formal letter documenting the support you've provided and clarifying that future support is voluntary, not obligatory. That way, if they try to claim you owe them something, you have documentation. Can they sue me for emotional distress or something? Richard actually laughed. Bob, they'd have no case. You're allowed to stop giving people money. What about Emma's college fund? I set up a 529 plan with $25,000. That's in Emma's name with you as the custodian. They can't touch it. When she's 18, it goes to her directly. Actually, that was smart. It protects your investment in her future without giving Brandon access. Fourth, and most painfully, I reached out to Linda, Karen's sister. I needed to talk to someone who knew Brandon, who knew our family, who could tell me if I was being unreasonable. Linda lived in Ohio now. We'd stayed in touch after Karen died, but not as closely as we should have. We talked for 2 hours. I told her everything. When I finished, there was a long silence. Bob, I need to tell you something. Something I should have told you years ago. My stomach dropped. After Karen died, I tried to talk to Brandon about how he was treating you. This was maybe 6 months after the funeral. He just asked you for money for something. I can't remember what. I told him he needed to step up, be more independent, take care of you for a change instead of always taking. What did he say? He laughed. He said, "Aunt Linda, my dad has more money than he knows what to do with. He's lonely. Helping us gives him purpose. I'd be cruel to take that away from him." I felt like I'd been punched. He said that. "I'm sorry, Bob. I should have told you. But I convinced myself he was just being young and stupid, that he'd grow out of it. I was wrong." We talked more. Linda confirmed what Dr. Rodriguez had said. Brandon was using me. Had been for years. "Bob, Karen would be heartbroken. But she'd also tell you to stop. She'd tell you that this isn't love, it's exploitation." By Christmas, I knew what I had to do. Brandon and Ashley invited me to Christmas at their apartment. "A second chance," they said. "If you can respect our boundaries, we'd love to have you." I went. Brought gifts for Emma, modest ones, books and puzzles. Brought wine for Brandon and Ashley. It was cordial. Stiff. Ashley monitored every interaction I had with Emma. If I picked her up, Ashley was there within 30 seconds asking if Emma wanted a snack or needed a diaper change or was getting tired. I played with Emma for maybe 20 minutes total in a 3-hour visit. As I was leaving, Brandon walked me to my car. "Thanks for coming, Dad. And for respecting our boundaries." "Of course." "Hey, I wanted to ask you about something. The Tesla lease is up for renewal in March. We're thinking of buying out the lease instead of turning it in. It's going to be about $35,000. I know that's a lot, but it would really help us build equity instead of just throwing money away on leasing." There it was. The ask. Like clockwork. "Let me think about it, Brandon." Sure. No pressure. Just wanted to give you advance notice since it's a big purchase." I drove home and made my decision. The Tesla payment was due on January 5th. $850 automatically charged to my credit card every month for the past 2 years. This time I was going to skip it. January 3rd, 2024. I called Tesla Financial Services. "Hi, I need to remove my credit card from AutoPay for lease account number. Can I ask why you're canceling AutoPay, Mr. Mitchell?" "The account holder needs to set up their own payment method." "I see. Just so you're aware, if the payment isn't made by January 5th, there's a $50 late fee. If it's not paid by January 20th, we'll begin repossession proceedings." "I understand. Please remove my card." Done. "Is there anything else I can help you with today?" "No, thank you." I hung up. My hands were shaking. Next, I called my bank. "I need to stop auto payment to Riverside Luxury Apartments. The $1,600 rent contribution. Due January 1st. I was 3 days late canceling it, so January's payment had already gone through. But February 1st? That was on Brandon. Third, I called the billing office for Emma's music class. "I need to cancel auto payment for the Sullivan account. Mr. Mitchell, we have you down for payments through June. Are you sure you want to cancel?" "I'm sure. The parents will need to set up their own payment method if they want to continue." "Okay, but please note that if payment isn't received by the 15th of each month, the student will be withdrawn from the program." "I understand." I'd done it. Cut off 3 of the major financial support. About $2,800 a month total. I didn't tell Brandon. Didn't warn him. Just like he hadn't warned me before banning me from Emma. January 5th came and went. I didn't hear from Brandon. January 8th, my phone rang. "Brandon. Dad, hey, weird question. Did the Tesla payment go through on your card? I got a notice saying they didn't receive payment. I removed my card from AutoPay." Silence. "What?" "I removed my card. If you're leasing the vehicle, you need to pay for it." "Dad, what are you talking about? You've been paying it for 2 years. And now I'm not." "But, Dad, I can't afford $850 a month right now. That's why you were helping. Brandon, you make $92,000 a year according to what you told me when you got promoted. Ashley's parents help you. You can afford $850 a month. Dad, this is crazy. You can't just stop paying without warning me. Can't I? You banned me from seeing Emma without warning. Seems like we both can make unilateral decisions about our relationship. This is about Thanksgiving? Dad, I told you, we just need you to respect boundaries. And I need to have a relationship with my granddaughter. Until that happens, I'm setting my own boundaries. Financial ones. So you're blackmailing us? You're using money to control us. The irony was stunning. No, Brandon. I'm stopping letting you use Emma to control me. Those are two very different things. Dad, I need to make this payment or they're going to charge me a late fee. Then make the payment. I don't have $850 just sitting around. Figure it out. You're 32 years old. You're a marketing director. I have faith in you. I hung up. Ashley called an hour later. Robert, what are you doing? This is insane. Hello, Ashley. Brandon is having a panic attack. He says you're cutting off all support. I'm cutting off support for things you should be paying for yourselves. We've been counting on you. We've built our budget around your help. Then you built your budget incorrectly. I'm 60 years old, Ashley. I need to think about my retirement. Your retirement? You have over $2 million. How did she know that? Had Brandon told her? Had they been calculating my net worth? My finances are none of your business. They are when you've been supporting us for years and suddenly pull the rug out. Ashley, I was told I can't see Emma until I respect your boundaries. I've decided to respect your family's independence by letting you handle your own finances. This is going to destroy Brandon's credit. If we miss car payments, then don't miss them. Pay them yourselves. With what money? The money Brandon earns. The money you'll save by canceling Emma's $350 monthly music class. The money Ashley's parents contribute. You'll figure it out. I cannot believe you're doing this. After everything we've done for you. What have you done for me, Ashley? Silence. You've let me visit my granddaughter twice a month for an hour at a time, under supervision, with constant criticism of my interactions. You've accepted hundreds of thousands of dollars while treating me like an obligation. So please, tell me, what have you done for me? She hung up. January 12th, Brandon called again. Dad, I paid the Tesla payment. It overdrafted my account. I got hit with a $35 overdraft fee plus the $50 late fee from Tesla. This is costing me money I don't have. I'm sorry you're having financial difficulties. Don't be condescending. Dad, I need you to pay this month's rent contribution. It's due in 3 weeks, and I don't have $1,600. Have you asked Ashley's parents? They already help with groceries and Emma's clothes. Then I guess you need to adjust your budget. We can't afford this apartment without your help. Then maybe you need a less expensive apartment. You want us to move? To uproot Emma? To leave the neighborhood we love? I want you to live within your means, Brandon. This is punishment. You're punishing us for setting boundaries with Emma. No, I'm setting boundaries of my own. You taught me that boundaries are healthy. Thank you for the lesson. Another hang-up. January 20th. 2 weeks after I stopped the Tesla payment, I got a text from Brandon with a video attached. The video showed a repo truck loading his Tesla Model Y. The message, happy now? They'd repossessed it from his workplace parking lot during business hours. I called Dr. Rodriguez for an emergency session that afternoon. Bob, how do you feel about what happened? Terrible. Guilty. Like I destroyed my son's life. Did you destroy his life, or did you stop funding a lifestyle he couldn't afford? But his car got repossessed at work. His colleagues saw. His boss probably saw. And whose fault is that? Did you make him lease an $850 per month car? Did you force him to miss the payment? No, but, Bob, you are not responsible for your son's choices. You are not responsible for managing his budget. You are not responsible for protecting him from consequences. But what if this hurts his career? What if it does? Is that your fault? Or is that the natural result of him living beyond his means for years? I left that session feeling slightly better. But the guilt didn't go away. January 28. 3 days before the rent was due, Ashley's father William called me. Robert, we need to talk. Hello, William. I'm going to be direct. What you're doing to Brandon and Ashley is unconscionable. What I'm doing is stopping financial support I'm not obligated to provide. They're family. You don't abandon family. I didn't abandon them. They banned me from seeing my granddaughter. Because you couldn't respect their parenting choices. Because I said careful when Emma threw a block. That's the crime I committed. Robert, Patricia and I have discussed this. We're willing to help Brandon and Ashley through this transition period, but we need to know your intentions. Are you cutting them off completely? I'm cutting off rent assistance, car payments, and discretionary support. I'm maintaining Emma's college fund, and I'll help with legitimate emergencies. Legitimate emergencies as defined by you? As defined by reality, William. Emergency room visits are emergencies. Needing rent money because they budgeted poorly is not. You're a bitter, cruel old man, Robert. And you're raising a daughter who thinks she's entitled to other people's money. I guess we both have our crosses to bear. He hung up. February 1st, rent due. I didn't pay. February 3rd, Brandon called. Dad, the landlord is asking where rent is. I don't have $1,600. Ashley's parents are helping with $800, but we're $800 short. You need to pay your rent, Brandon. I literally don't have it. Cut expenses. Cancel subscriptions. Return things you bought. Sell something. Sell what? I don't know, Brandon. You're an adult. Figure it out. February 5th. They made rent somehow. Brandon told me later they'd put it on a credit card. February 14th. Brandon sent me a text. Emma asks about you. She says, "Where Grandpa?" I tell her Grandpa is busy. What should I tell her, Dad? That you chose money over her. That one hurt. Hurt so badly I almost caved. I called Dr. Rodriguez. He's weaponizing Emma against you, Bob. This is emotional manipulation. He knows that's your weak spot. But what if she thinks I abandoned her? She's 2.5 years old. She doesn't think in those terms. But even if she did, whose fault is that? Who's keeping her from you? They are. Exactly. March 2024. 3 months without financial support from me. I heard through Linda that Brandon and Ashley were fighting constantly. Money stress. Ashley blaming Brandon for ruining their relationship with me. Brandon blaming Ashley for the Thanksgiving incident. March 15th, I got a letter. Legal letterhead. Crawford and Associates Law Firm. Boston, Massachusetts. Mr. Robert Mitchell. This letter is to inform you that our clients, Brandon and Ashley Sullivan, are prepared to take legal action to enforce grandparents' visitation rights and to recover financial support that you verbally committed to providing. You are hereby given notice that 1. Your sudden withdrawal of financial support has caused significant hardship to our clients, including damage to Brandon Sullivan's credit score and employment reputation. 2. Your refusal to see Emma Sullivan despite previous regular visitation constitutes abandonment and emotional harm to the child. 3. You are required to resume financial support as previously established or face legal action for breach of verbal contract. Please respond within 10 days or we will proceed with filing in family court. I read the letter 3 times. Then I called Richard Morrison. Richard, they're threatening to sue me. Ashley's parents hired a Boston law firm. Send it over. Let me look at it. I scanned and emailed it. He called back 30 minutes later, laughing. Bob, this is a bluff. A bad one. How do you know? First, there's no such thing as a verbal contract for ongoing family support. Gifts are gifts. Second, they're claiming you're refusing to see Emma? That's the opposite of the truth. Third, they're claiming financial hardship while living in a $3,200 per month apartment. No judge will take this seriously. So what do I do? I'll draft a response. We'll lay out the facts. You've provided $341,000 in support over 8 years. They banned you from seeing Emma. You've repeatedly offered to have a relationship with Emma independent of finances. They're the ones conditioning grandparent access on money. Will they actually sue? No. Because discovery would destroy them. We'd subpoena all their financial records, all communications, everything. We'd show a pattern of financial exploitation. Ashley's parents would end up looking very bad for funding this lawsuit. Richard was right. I never heard from Crawford and Associates again. But on April 2nd, I got a different kind of call.